Hi everybody, my name is Nan Buckardt. I'm on the education team at the Lake County Forest Preserves. One of the most common questions we get in the summer is how to identify poison ivy. Today, I'm going to give you some tips. So this is the shrub form of poison ivy, where the plants are a little bit elevated off of the ground. But it's a really good example of the three leaves. If you look at the structure, it almost looks like you could draw a triangle for the positions of the leaves. The middle leaf is on a stem that extends up, and the two bottom leaves have very short stems, as you can see here. You notice it's very strongly veined, very obvious to see the veins, and the edges have a little bit of a ruffle to them. On the bottom two leaves, often there is this little protrusion that some people say looks like a mitten, the thumb on a mitten, and that's a good way to tell. The fooler is that not every one of the poison ivy plants is going to have that thumb. Here we have the low-growing version of poison ivy. Poison ivy likes to grow in partial shade, partial sun, or full sun, not in the dense woodland. So that means that it's commonly found in flower beds, along fence rows in people's yards, and perhaps along the path on a forest preserve. We can see the three clusters of leaves, the distinct veining, as well as a little bit of the bump. But poison ivy usually is not the only plant in a view. So here we have Virginia creeper, which is commonly mistaken for poison ivy because it has that variegated edge, that toothed edge, and fairly strong veins. However, it has 5 leaflets in this cluster, not 3. Here we have the poison ivy vine climbing up the tree. It's easy to identify it as poison ivy by looking at the leaves, the clusters of 3, the ruffled edge, the deep veining, and some of the leaves have that obvious thumb. The vine itself is also very characteristic. If you notice, there are little roots coming off of the vine attaching to the bark. That's characteristic of poison ivy vines. It's really important to know that all parts of poison ivy can give you a rash. Doesn't matter in the season, whether it's summer or spring or even in the winter. If you're to break a stem, crush a leaf, disturb a berry, any of those things could potentially give you a rash and have that allergic reaction. Dermatologists think that up to 85% of the people are allergic to poison ivy. You 15% that have never gotten it though, please stay away because you can lose your immunity to it and get the rash at any time. So it's important to stay away. Poison ivy rashes are caused by the oils inside the plant, and the oils do not disperse or dry easily. So if your dog rubs against it, your pant leg rubs against it, you're gardening and it's on your tools, any of those things could harbor that oil and you could come against it with your bare skin at a later time. It's important to be aware of where poison ivy grows and do your best to avoid it so that you don't have those issues with the rash and the allergic reaction. If you do encounter poison ivy, the best way to get it off your skin is to wash it thoroughly with soapy, cold water. Using hot water or warm water spreads the oils more thoroughly over your skin. So use soapy, cold water to clean your tools, to clean your dog leash, to clean yourself. Now that you know how to identify poison ivy, you can enjoy the outdoors. It's a wonderful thing to be able to just go and hike, and if you stay on the trails, there's little chance of you encountering it. It's when you venture off trail where you may encounter it. The thing that's important to remember is that poison ivy may be a bother for people, but it's a really important thing in the environment. All the animals in our forest preserves rely on it. Rodents, insects, deer, raccoons, birds, they all use poison ivy at some point in their life. So it's important for us to have that rich biodiversity. But now that you know how to identify poison ivy, you can stay safe. To find out more about the Forest Preserve and its trail systems, visit www.lcfpd.org. A complete list of all the preserves are found there. Enjoy the outdoors.